What up, though? I'm not even from Detroit. I'm just saying hi. Welcome to the V3ST Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best, your fabulously wonderful, the biggest thug that ever existed. It is me. I am here. We are here to go over life after lockup. Oh, this episode is titled High Risk Lies. They got to stop naming an episode just based on a couple that you got for a couple seconds in. But you know what? That's okay, because I'm just happy that we are still getting this show. If you guys could do me a lovely little solid, give a like to the video if you like what we're doing. If you watch my other recaps, like the video. If you really, really like us, subscribe to the channel. It is appreciated. I say us because I have co-host James Jackson, who is also an author. We do a lot of shows on Bravo that we recap together. And also B3ST, also Best, the best, who I've been blessed by. That's the husband, and I also co-host with him a lot for music reactions and music reviews. And then you have lives where it's just me. Sorry, but thank you in advance for being here. But we're gonna get into this episode of Life After Lockup. So we are gonna start this one with Zaria and Troy. Listen, I feel like I've been roasting Zaria and Troy for seasons. I got to give them a break because I think separate from each other, they're okay people. I just feel like Troy, based on his lifestyle, he ended up the way that he is. And I feel like Zaria, unfortunately, a lot of kids who are adopted, didn't have parents, end up struggling with drugs that she has off camera. So, you know, I don't want to put too much on them, but they act like the Hot Mess Express. Now, I just realized watching this episode, I said, whose great idea was it to plan their community day for Project Heal on their anniversary? If you're going to have your husband working with you instead of getting a real job, which he needs to do, because that's going to give him a better gauge of what it's like to be an adult that works for money versus an adult who is used to fast money, gets out of prison, and then has a wife who apparently isn't very good for money with money either, because the Zaria ain't paid the bills. Zaria got the rent late on their properties and their work event. Zaria is not doing much for this Project Heal because Troy got out of jail and there's no funding, there's no nothing. And that's not his fault if he just got out. No, it's not. So Zaria needs to be more accountable and be better in business. And maybe learn to delegate, which all great leaders have to learn how to do, because she clearly doesn't know how to pay the rent. She don't know how to pay the mortgage. She don't know how to get funding. She needs to let the people who know how to do what they're doing do what they're doing. I think her heart's in the right place, but she is not a businesswoman by any means. Now, Zaria's tripping on Troy. She claims that she saw him texting other women, which was not true. We know from the previous episode, he was making a post to her on social media. Now, editors at WeTV, why y'all couldn't encourage them to say something about that? We've seen the dark side of reality TV on the Vice Network. Shout out to Vice. I like y'all. I subscribe to y'all on YouTube too, so don't come at me, Vice. But they exposed a lot in that little episode about the dark side of reality TV. They have teleprompters that they could tell people to say what stuff, what to bring up, and all of this. So if Troy was really making a Instagram post saying happy anniversary to Zaria, why are you ignoring your wife as you do it? In my mind, it looked like he was too high to function and communicate, and she was mad that he was high and she don't know how to communicate. And that has nothing to do with bipolar. I've worked in mental health for a while, and I know for a fact that yes, bipolar does cause people to be in situations that are described as mania. But Zaria, there's a difference between being bipolar and just being a unagreeable, difficult, disrespectful, immature bitch. And I think that that's what she is. I'm just keeping it a buck. Now, Troy, man up and speak up. You done everything, in my opinion, wrong since you got out of jail. The only thing Troy has done right is not cheat on Zaria. Clearly, Project Heal is the Hot Mess Express and not a real job. You're not going to be able to get a paycheck from Zaria doing this. Secondly, you a grown-ass man. Why would you want a paycheck from your wife? Thirdly, I smoke weed too every single day, okay? I'm from California. Yay. We smoke out here. I don't see nothing wrong with smoking weed. But Troy, you don't have a real job. And all you seem to do is get high before you go to the job that Zaria has tried to create for you. If they don't let that doctor and that therapist that we saw when we first got introduced to her nonprofit, if they don't let them do their job and actually have more control of how they're running Project Heal, because right now it's a mess. And I don't think that Zaria and Troy have the ability to heal anyone when they have not healed themselves first. That's just my opinion. Now, in my opinion, after watching the episode, I sat on it. And y'all know I be having my little strong opinions, but I feel like Zaria was acting a fool to keep him from his child because Troy made it very clear. I want my daughter, because the baby's name is Troy too. So I'm going to call her Baby Troy. He said, I want Baby Troy at this event. And if Yana, who is the baby mama, has to be there because she is the mother of the child and the child's only 6 or 7, then so be it. As soon as Zaria heard that, you could tell that something was off. Whenever a woman has to say, yeah, I'd never keep you from your child, then the bitches you got to watch. Because why do you have to speak it aloud? Just act, be an adult. And Zaria, I'm the same age as you. You making us look bad. Now, Zaria's going off on Troy for no reason. It didn't work. He still ended up going off about his child, but he came right back to that community day because Troy don't got a real job. Troy has no income. The car that Troy drives comes from Zaria. He doesn't have anything. And Zaria gives me the type of chick who's insecure to want a man who has to rely on her for everything and all of that. Troy needs to man up and go get him a job at the local AM, PM, Arco, I don't know, Marie Callender's, go work at UPS, FedEx, as my co-host James says on Other Lives, but he needs to go get a job because anything is better than just living off your spouse. That's my opinion. But basically, they go to serve the community food, and people showed up in their community for free food, which I love when anybody does anything for their community. Zaria, if your heart is in helping the community, then why don't you just focus on helping the community through your parents' church? Partner with your parents for Project Heal and do something that could expand it more. But you don't have to have this fake ass nonprofit that you're using to pay your bills instead of paying your employees. Just saying. So they serve the food, and Troy says afterward that he has to call Yana, the baby mama, about his daughter because Zaria's flip out caused his daughter to be waiting at a train station from what we know for hours versus as long as the show showed. And Zaria looked bothered. It's like, bitch, if you weren't throwing a fit, he wouldn't have to call the baby mama to make things right to hope to see his child. So why do you look bothered about it, Zaria? If you don't want this man to have to interact with his baby mama so much, then it would serve you right to shut the fuck up and act right when the exchange is coming for the child, because then it goes faster. It goes faster. But I really think Zaria is one of the bitches who insecure and want to talk a big game, but she don't got hands, and I feel like Yana might, and she's scary. That's just how I feel because Zaria got so much to say about the baby mama when she's not around her, but when she's in front of her, like we saw a couple episodes ago, she's silent. It's quieter than the church mouse. Makes no sense. So Troy goes to the park to meet with his daughter's mom and his daughter, who he thinks is going to be there, but the baby's not there. It's only Yana who is there. They immediately get into it because Troy's like, where's my daughter? And Yana came with a good point. We have to co-parent. We cannot co-parent if every time you have an argument with this bitch, you're missing out on seeing the baby. Now, Yana had a point with that, and she's been the main one raising the baby. But Yana, you not slick either. You don't have to kiss Zaria's ass, but there's not much of a discussion about the baby or being around. But now I can't even say Yana needs to do anything because the way that Zaria has behaved, I wouldn't want any child around her. And that's probably why her parents have custody of her son. Now, thank God her son's able to stay in her family and stuff, but we know that Zaria's not raising that boy because of her own struggles. And that's fine. But just because you're not in your child's life 24/7 doesn't mean he can't be. So Zaria needs to figure it out. She's trying to go off on people online and on the internet about how people are looking at her. Baby girl, this is deeper than a bad edit. Some shit you just have to learn how to, swallow. And this, you definitely need to swallow the fact that you are wrong. You look terrible. And one day the baby gonna see this and you're gonna look a mess. In my opinion, Zaria thrives off of negativity. She allows Troy to disrespect the baby mama. She allows Troy to walk off. And Yana's like, you're not going to check your husband. And that should show you, Zaria, she don't want your man. She's like, you're not going to check your man? Because if my man, which he doesn't have kids out of wedlock because he has sense, I'm sorry, I'm saying it. But if he did, he is not going to just be walking off his stuff. Because Troy's like, where's the baby? Walking up to the car trying to look for his daughter. If your daughter was in the car, why would you walk up to the car trying to upset your daughter, making the mother of her making her mother look bad? Troy is immature. Zaria is immature. And Yana's a little bit immature too. But in this situation, I'm sided with Yana. Zaria, check your man and get him to calm down. But you're just going to let him go the fuck off because you know you constantly going off. Nothing else happened with these people. These people, they're an embarrassment to Black people. I said it, and I'm Black, I can say it. You come on this show with baby mama drama. You got one chick that can't raise her kid and barely wants him on camera. You got the other chick who had a baby with the man who ended up in prison. Not her fault, but she's let this baby come around Zaria and them a few times, from family events and barbecues at Karen's house to us seeing baby Troy come constantly. The grandma's willing to be helpful. The only difficult party in this situation is Zaria, mainly, and right behind her butt is Troy. This is why I want Troy to get a job of his own so that he can have income of his own to go and see and raise his baby away from Zaria, to where he should be able to drive to go see his child and do all these things what he wants. And I don't want to hear shit from you people from these small states. Oh my God, it's a 3-hour drive. Well, in California, that's a commute to and from work. He can do it. There's no reason that Troy should not be removing Zaria from the situation of his daughter. It's not okay. It's not okay. What I see in Zaria and Troy is two deadbeats. Sorry. That's how I feel. I hope that they improve it, but all they do is smoke weed and argue. Coming from pothead to these potheads, do better. Moving on, we got to get to Kim and Joey. Now, these people, Word on the Curb is on Facebook in the Life After Lockup, Love After Lockup, a filter group, that Kim and Joey are engaged or something now. I don't care. Don't nobody want them but them, so let them be together. Congrats. Joey's denying doing drugs. And so the person who's allegedly on drugs goes to buy a drug test because he says, and only a person on drugs would say this, I don't know, drug tests do that sometime. He miraculously passes the drug test that he purchased away from her. I wouldn't even trust that drug test. I would have been like, nope, let's make us an appointment and get to the local doctor. You getting the blood test. I'm going to figure it out one way or the other, but you're not going to be able to test or read the results. It's going to be a doctor, a licensed practitioner. That's what I would do. So he passes the new drug test and, you know, he suddenly can pee on demand. In the past episode, she tried to get him for over an hour and a half to pee into the damn cup. When he finally goes and pees, it comes out dirty. And then he was mad. Now he's magically come back home. He's bought his own test and he's suddenly clean. Kim, I know you a hoe, but you got to be a foolish hoe to believe that Joey is clean. So he passes it, but we then see that she bought her new house and that she couldn't afford and all this stuff. She gets her new house and I'm like, why is there a picture of Joey in the bedroom? Because her cousin Tatum comes over. Turns out Joey's in rehab. Well, who is surprised? Nobody is surprised that Joey is in rehab. He's never been able to be sober or faithful. That's what they said from the moment we met her on Love During Lockup. They are letting anybody onto Life After Lockup. When Life After Lockup, when it originally came on with this franchise, used to be the franchise where we got the couples that actually made it, that actually have been together, that we know are not broken up. I don't know Kim and Joey like that. We saw them from Love During Lockup. They weren't on Love After Lockup. Now they're on Life After Lockup. What the hell are you doing, WeTV? Like, some of these couples don't need to be here. Tenny and Rob, we could have got them on Love After Lockup. Brittany and Key Rock, we could have got them on Love After Lockup. Bianca and Daniel should have stayed on Love After Lockup. Melissa and Louie should have stayed on Love After Lockup. Zaria and Troy, love after lockup. Life after lockup should be once you are married and with the person and in your life, not still trying to find and build the foundation of your life. So I don't know what the hell we TV's doing, but it is what it is. Joey's in rehab. Kim's probably gonna stay with him. They're engaged in real time. I don't know. Congrats. Moving on. Melissa and Louie. Melissa's hard to look at. She really is. She is terrible to look at, especially in the face. The nose job might have made it worse. I said what I said. Cancel me. I will get over it. But Melissa's friend, her miserable, jealous friend, is telling her, you need to get the ring appraised. And your sister agrees too. That's not a friend. Yes, this man went to jail. But if my friend had a man who went to jail that I didn't trust, and then a year later, this man is still with her, working multiple jobs, behaving appropriately, is respectful to her, treats her right, and y'all still trying to find something wrong with her, it's given Melissa's friends are jealous as hell and probably wondering how that face pulled Louie, because we are all wondering. Now, she goes to get this ring appraised, and Melissa, if Louis's family talked about you the way that your family speaks about Louis, you would be disgusted. People like Melissa and her friends are what's wrong with this country, specifically as it relates to America, because I know got people watching from all over, but they are what's wrong with this country. They are every single piece and bit of white judgment in its true foundational negativity that it could be. Why are you judging this man who's done his time? He paid his debt to society. And the crimes that he committed were based on the fact that he had a drug problem. Why are you trying to add stress to this man and ruin your friend's joy? You could tell your friend to be careful and keep it real with her without downing Louis as a partner. And that's what people don't understand. You got to be careful about friends and family, because sometimes the people who are too happy to hear about the negative things going on in your relationship are the ones who may be secretly rooting for your failure in your relationship, because it will make them feel better. And that's what all of her friends gave. Now, she gets the ring appraised. It's real. It appraised for the same price that Louis spent on it, pretty much, 24,000. And the band that usually is metal, like tungsten metal, white gold, things of that nature, the band, the active ring, they're saying that it's not engraved, right? And I guess jewelers, it's supposed to have engraved like what it is. I just took off my wedding ring to look because it is real. It did come from Zales, but it is real. And I don't see shit engraved under where this guy said. Maybe that's a law for New Jersey, but rings are kind of like guns, televisions, electronics. They get recycled. Like, look at Donna. She's like, you could have one of my old rings. Like, they get recycled. So I don't think it's a big deal, especially when the jeweler said that this is illegal for the jeweler. Louis didn't do anything illegal. But Melissa's ungrateful because the fact that you got engaged to a man who really should not have proposed to your crazy ass is probably why you was 41 and alone anyway. And the first thing you think to do is listen to your friends talk negatively about this because of his past. Why did you choose to date someone in prison if you weren't going to be able to believe that they actually legally bought your ring if you want to get married to them eventually? Like, shame on her. She did the worst thing that a person could ever do to their partner, and she does not deserve that ring. So basically, Louis has to be judged by society as well as Melissa, her friends, and her family. And that is disgusting. So, in my opinion, his friends are jealous and not happy. And it's like he saved the money. Why is that a big deal? Why is that not believable? Now, the diamond's fine and all of that. The appraisal went well, but she goes to tell Louis of what happened. And I'm looking at Louis. I could tell he was pissed. I feel like Melissa's taking advantage of Louis because of the place that he was in. And I feel like Louis is only with Melissa at this point because he really does appreciate her holding him down when he was in jail and after he got out. But based on how Melissa has acted since he's gotten out of jail, I don't think they need to be together. It doesn't seem like she went from being excited about being pregnant by him to downing him as a man who's working the one job that he can get. And he has multiple side hustles. You have questioned the ring I wanted Louis to take that ring back. Like, if that's a big deal, I'll take the ring back. We don't have to be together. Melissa's a disgusting and vile person for doing that. Part of marriage and what makes it special is knowing that when the world turns their back on you, my husband at the very least will have my back. That's what marriage is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be, oh, this person said something bad about my husband. Now I have to question him because I don't know the type of person he is. Either you know and trust who Louis is as a person and his integrity as a man, or you trust who he is today, not based on his past, and you move it forward. But I don't know a single man that'd be happy with having a female that's gonna let whoever, whatever Tom, Dick, Harry, Jane want to talk about their man. Absolutely not. I want to see her friend who had all of that to say, where's your ring? Where's your man? Because that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. And then what really pissed me off is, Melissa, you asked this man for a ring that you didn't even understand the cost of, knowing that he was a felon. You're surprised that he was actually able to get the ring for you. Now that you have it, you're questioning how he got the ring after he just saved over $20,000 and put his whole life savings into getting your bitch ass a ring when you look like that in the face? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You need to leave Melissa right where she found her. I just can't. I cannot. So we gonna keep it moving. We're not gonna be here too long, you guys. That's all that happened with Melissa's stupid ass and Louis. Donna, you keep your foot on Melissa's neck. People may view Donna as the crazy mother-in-law. Keep your foot on your child's neck, because not everybody's gonna love the people you love the right way. And I don't think Melissa's right for him. It's funny because Melissa's family is so concerned about if Louis gonna do right for her, but they're not seeing that they are making it to where she is not, one, she's not a catch by herself anyway. Two, she's not attractive. Three, she got a baby by somebody else anyway. Sorry, that gives you a flag. And now he got the deal with the family talking about him also. Her family's doing all of this because they so-called care for Melissa, not realizing that she's already not a catch and they're lessening her ability to be caught. Because if Louis don't want Melissa, who is? Who is? Because it ain't work for her no other way. We gotta talk about Justine and Michael. I'm gonna do the best I can to be a kind human, but y'all know I'm just here to give my opinions. Read it. Everything I say is alleged, is for entertainment purposes, so you and your lawyer can kick rocks, whoever you are. Going into the doctor's office because Justine is at 38 weeks. They're joking about making another baby and all of this. Justine, get on birth control. This is the stupidest ploy and most desperate ploy on reality TV I've ever seen. Justine gives me a spoiled ass brat who does not do well when she is put in her place and told the truth about herself, who has taken her motherhood as a way to have power because tiny humans cannot speak for themselves. But in the real adult realm, she's irresponsible, she's childish, and she needs to grow up. But I do think she's a nice person. Now, Michael, you can get it too. Now, Justine's dumbass shouldn't have got pregnant, especially after the doctor told her it was risky to her life if she did it. But she's doing this because she thinks that these pregnancies gonna keep your ass. But Michael, I think you're a good guy, but you need to tell her no more. Wrap it up, put a condom on, get that vasectomy, especially if the bitch was like, oh, yeah, I planned this baby, so now we're having one. Absolutely not. If that's how Justine thinks, I would happily be running to get a vasectomy because they are reversible. But it sounds like she's going to do the tube tying because Justine want to control who takes care of the kids if she passes away. She wants to choose who has the baby, who makes the choices with the baby, all this other crazy stuff, and she want Michael to fund and pay for it. Absolutely not. It's always some baby mamas that think they know something about marriage and they don't. Justine, sit down, be quiet, learn. You got a good man. I think Michael cares about her. But if she keep having babies, she not gonna ever get time to be with that good man. That's just my opinion. So she's 38 weeks. I have no empathy for Justine at all because everything that she is going through with this pregnancy being high risk, she was warned of at her first C-section. She was warned of at her second C-section. She was warned of at the third C-section. And now they've warned her before the fourth. I don't feel sorry for this chick. She knew exactly what she was getting. Now, they're going to schedule the delivery for her son to come out of her belly early at 38 weeks. Why? Because she shouldn't have got pregnant so soon, and there's so much tissue from all of her other C-sections that they don't know if the baby is going to continue to get nutrients through the umbilical cord. So it is safer to take the child out. That way you can make sure that the child is getting nutrients. So they're going to schedule to have the baby delivered sooner than later. The doctors told you not to do this, Justine, so don't you dare fucking cry on camera and expect any of us to feel sorry for you or look at your mom like your mom is a bad person. It sounds like your mom has been trying to tell you, dumbass, the truth about what you're doing and the choices you make, because you make these effed up choices. You bring these kids into the world that you can't reverse like Uno and bring back. And then you expect your mama and the kids' dads and everybody else to be there for you when you chose to do this. No. So she calls her mama to see if her mom could come fly out because she wants her mom to be there and she's going to need some help. And she just told her mom about the pregnancy. They have not spoken. She kept this pregnancy a secret. She put a lot on her mom. You got with the prisoner. You moved her grandkids to another state for this prisoner. The prisoner comes home and you're pregnant within the first week or two. And now you're having a second baby. No. So, and Justine, as much crap as you talk about your mom, she defended you against Michael's mom when she was trying to get that paternity test. So you could feel how you feel about your mom because you don't like what she has to say, but what she has to say is the truth. And sometimes we all need to hear those hard truths. It's just the way that it goes. She tells her mom on the phone, it's an emergency. She doesn't say, I'm giving birth. All she says is it's an emergency. But Justine gives me the type of kid who will call her mom, talk about it's an emergency. And there's no emergency. All that's happened is Santana, her badass son, that she blamed his badness being on autism, which I think he just don't know how to listen, because I worked as a BT, behavioral tech, with kids who are autistic of all ages. And I can tell you guys that there is a difference between how the autism impacts their behaviors and things like that. Yes, sometimes they have a moment they can't express themselves, they freak out. But the way that her child be acting and the way he started that beef with Michael's son, talking about how his mom trumps the other baby mamas, disrespecting that boy's mama, absolutely not. I think that her kids is just bad as hell. And the mom is basically like, I will see what I can do. You're not going to tell me it's an emergency and expect me to drop my life and fly across the country, and you're not even telling me what type of emergency it is. So I felt like Justine tried to set her mom up to look bad on camera, but I feel like her mom's just fed up with Justine's irresponsible choices. Do I think the mom's handling it in the right way? No. However, do I think that the mom needs to pick up and suddenly pack up her whole life for a so-called emergency when the child is able to call you, the kids is okay, just to come across the country to take care of you because you irresponsible and don't know how to listen to doctors or your husband? No. So Justine gets mad and starts crying. Oh, woe is me. I spread my legs for my husband, knowing that we both fertile as hell. Now I'm pregnant. He didn't really want me to be at this time. The doctors told me not to. Somehow this is Justine's mom's fault. Justine is super likable. I think Justine just needs to be accountable. And Michael is also super likable. But Michael needs to learn to control his anger and learn how to help his wife be accountable in a loving way versus always throwing a fit with anger. Lastly, why are you crying about throwing a birthday party for your 1-year-old? You got 3 other kids who I'm sure got 1-year-old birthday parties. 2, the baby ain't gonna remember. I had a birthday party for me when I was 1. My parents tell me about it. They used to show me photo albums. I didn't give a damn. You know why? I don't remember. And they didn't even choose the cake I would have liked. So, I get that people be so excited to have their babies, but like a 1-year-old birthday party, that's something I expect from like new moms. And Justine is not a new mom. She's not a new mom. The only time I go to the birthday parties of 1-year-olds when I'm invited is if it's someone's first child. That's it. Maybe their second child if they have the second child within 2 years. But other than that, I'm not going to your 1-year-old birthday party. The fuck do I care? Like, the kid's not even going to remember. They're not going to remember. I know this sounds cruel. I know this sounds mean, but they're not going to remember. Now, if it's something small like just at the house with your immediate family, fine. But she's trying to throw a party for a baby that's named after a city that they're not even from. Who the fuck names their kid Manhattan Barbie? What if the girl don't look like a Barbie? That's a lot of pressure. And separate from that, No, the baby is darling. That baby is adorable. Two people not from New York name their baby after New York. That's weird. That'd be like if I named my baby Philly because I love Philadelphia, but I ain't from there. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Justine is always so caught up in how things look that she's not thinking about her choices. You can tell that she was a teen mom and that she is growing up with her kids because she is definitely not where a 36-year-old woman should be in terms of thought. Just saying. So moving on, please don't bring them back to this show. I don't care to see them. I think they're normal. I think they're living their life. They never spoke about any of the things that were relevant, like the guy who was managing Mike's rap career. He went down for like sex trafficking and all this crazy stuff. Talk about that, Mike. How are you connected with that, Mike? What's going on with that? Or the storyline with Justine's mom. I'd rather see her trying to work it out with her mother because she need every bit of help she could get because their house is toe up from the flow up. And that has nothing to do with how many kids they have, because as quiet as it's kept, Justine and Michael, y'all kids is big enough to clean up after themselves. Okay, I grew up in a big family myself, a very big family. We did not leave the house looking the way they house looked, and we was poor. Teach your kids to clean up after themselves. How about that? And then do something. Moving on because nothing else happened. She's gonna give birth, and we'll see. We'll see. What happens with the mom when she arrives. But right now, I'm for Justine's mama. She keeps it real. I'm not going to kiss your ass because you make dumb choices. No. And you don't have to regret your baby to also admit that the choice of how you brought them into the world was not the smartest. And it was not the smartest. Doesn't mean she should regret the baby. Yes, they're blessings, but the way that she had that baby, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Justine, do better, grow up. That's all. Because I like you and you irritate me. Now, Teenie and Rob. Teenie done fought Rob's mom. Rob's mom just gives the ratchet baby mama that never grew up, and now she expects her kids to take care of her. I can't stand his mama. She's everything wrong with Black parents, in my opinion. Now, his mama's coming to the house while Teenie's at work because she got Tenny, because I heard her say her own name, and it's Tenny. Her mom shouldn't have named her that. It don't make sense. I had a client tell me that, but that's a whole nother thing. Anywho, Tenny's back working as a paralegal. Rob has his mom come over with the kids and stuff, and the kids made it clear in the last episode we need an apology because Rob's mom is disrespectful. But Teenie, just because his mama got in your face yelling does not mean you got to smush her face away from yours. Because I rewatched that, and I saw the lady got in Tenny's face, tried to do something and missed, and Teenie like pushed her face out of her face. And of course, the mom went crazy. You don't touch anybody going off the way Rob's mom goes off because Rob's mom is crazy and needs to grow up. You just don't. But I just wouldn't put my hands on my elder like that. I wouldn't. I can't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I can't side with you, Teenie. You shouldn't have put your hands on that old lady. Just stay the fuck away from her and let her be as she is. But don't put your hands on her because that's still your elder. The mom is mad. It's the first time Rob and his mom have seen each other. She comes with his brother, Keyshawn, who looked like he didn't care and was just showing up because he don't want to be put out. I get the feeling he lived with his brother. Rob's messy mama arrives. Tenny's watching on the camera, and as soon as Rob is talking to his mom about how she needs to be more respectful of the fact that this is his, wife and his kids and all of that, his mom gets to hollering in his backyard. I would have called my husband like, I'm watching the cameras the same way you did in prison. She cannot yell like that in my house. You need to remove her. And if you can't, then the police will be there in 15 minutes. I'll be damned with a woman like that. Absolutely not. I don't play with in-laws in general. I'm not kissing your ass. I don't give a damn what you did, who you are, any of that. And y'all can ask my mother-in-law and clock that tea. I'm not kissing nobody's ass. You disrespect my house. I don't give a fuck if this your son, your nephew, or your cousin. Get the hell out. So Rob's mom is going off acting like the child that she is. And they didn't get nowhere. They didn't get nowhere. So we gonna move on to Bianca and Daniel. And I hope you guys like the video. Subscribe if you have not already. Bianca and Daniel are a disaster. They're not together in real life because he finally cheated on him, and I rooted for him with that because Bianca is awful. Go on and cheat. Do whatever you got to do to get this woman away from you. She's terrible. And she has her friend in town, the friend that keeps it real with her. She's telling her friend with her dumbass, she's not on birth control. They haven't used any protection. And this is where Bianca's friend points out, like, Bianca, mind you, they're the same age. But when I was 23, I wasn't this stupid. I wasn't. Bianca wants to have a baby with Daniel, and I can't understand it if she knows the relationship is a mess. And her friend points out that Bianca could be young-minded. It doesn't make sense because why get pregnant if you're upset and you don't have a ring? A baby's not going to fix anything. Bianca does not see that. And I like when I was 18, I had a friend that ended up pregnant, right? And she's like, I'm so excited. Aren't you happy? I was like, no. Girl, how you gonna pay for this baby? Where you gonna go? You sleeping on my couch. And she got so mad at me, didn't speak to me till after she had the baby. And then she was like, I understand now. People get mad at the truth. And I feel like Bianca's that way. And her friend will tell the cameras that she's immature, but her friends seem like she'll tell Bianca once, like, hey, sis, you know you tripping, right? And Bianca will be like, because that's all I hear when Bianca talks. And then her friend's like, well, I said something. I tried. Moving on. And nobody about to waste time on you like that, Bianca. Nobody. So Bianca's terrible for Daniel, in my opinion. But she takes her friend home to meet Daniel. And the next morning, Bianca leaves for whatever for a second. And she leaves her friend alone in the house with Daniel. And I'm like, why would you leave your friend in the house alone with your man when your friend look better than you? I'm sorry. I said it. I wouldn't have left my man alone. But anywho, she leaves her friend alone, and Daniel and Bianca's friend get to talking, and she brings up the love bombing. And Daniel goes, I may have love bombed her, but not intentionally. I think that it's called prison talk, jail talk, for those who don't know. Jail talk is when people in jail tell you every good thing that they gonna do for you and by you, behind you. It's common. They got nothing else to do, nothing else to talk about. So of course they're going to speak about what they could do and all the good that they can bring and the potential they see in themselves. They're in jail. And it's honestly better psychologically to speak about stuff that is going to make you feel uplifted and get you through a tough moment because you're giving yourself something to look forward to. So I don't think that Daniel love bombed her intentionally. However, I do feel like part of the reason Daniel stayed with Bianca, because we saw in Love After Lockup, which she should not have been on because he was locked up the whole season, but we saw that he did not want to go to a halfway house. He was very specific about certain things. He was more like aggressive. So I feel like he didn't intentionally love bomb her 100%, but I'm going to say he 50% did, because I think he did say certain stuff about love and commitment just so that he could be able to parole with her to her house instead of the halfway house. That's my opinion. If y'all feel differently, please let me know, because I love to hear different people's opinions. I'm weird like that. I do enjoy it. But I don't think he fully love bombed her. Bianca made it clear what she wanted. He made it clear what he wanted, what he's willing to do. But things have changed since he's out. But her friend explains to Daniel, like, the fact that she thinks you love him, like, she'll sit in misery and stay with you until she gets what she wants, which is not what anybody should do. You should not be miserable with anyone. If you are miserable with someone, then you are with that wrong someone, or you need to separate. It shouldn't be like that. I've been with the same person for now like 16 and a half, 17 years, married for 12 of them. I haven't felt miserable. Even through the worst of the worst, I have not been miserable with my spouse. So if that's how Bianca thinks, then that's definitely a trauma bond and she needs to address that. But he does tell the friend, it's so many words. He essentially lets Bianca's friend know, like, she's a problem. She needs to grow up, and he's in no rush to propose. I actually respect him for that. That means he takes marriage seriously. You don't want a man to just propose to shut you up or so that he could keep getting what he wants. You want someone to propose for you because you literally make their breath stop when they look at you, or you bring them so much joy. Like, one of those corny cliche reasons, that's why you should propose. You should have those feelings. So Bianca's friend tells Daniel, basically makes the recommendation he should cut the cord because men know what they want. And if he wanted to marry her right now, he would, which is the truth. I like that the friend helped not just Daniel accountable, but Bianca's friend, I think her name was Haley or something, little white girl, she held Bianca and Daniel accountable individually and as a couple. And I respect the hell out of her for that. How could can I not? I loved it. I was here for it. Keep it real with your friends. Keep it 100. If you can't, then they're not really your friends. I done had my friends tell me, like, Amina, girl, this hair is not it. You shouldn't be doing this. Why are you going through that? Like, I could get mad about it, but then it's like, if people really love you, they're not going to let you go out looking like a fool. They're going to keep it a buck. They're going to keep it 100. They're going to let you know the truth without berating you and then keep it moving, you know? But it's clear these people ain't gonna last. I'm not even gonna get into Bianca and Daniel like that because didn't it just come out? I don't know how many of y'all who watch Love After Lockup, Life After Lockup, Love During Lockup are like me and subscribe to According to Amber on YouTube, but should. Yes, I'm a YouTuber promoting the other YouTuber. Why the fuck not? There's room for everybody. But according to Amber, it just dropped that apparently Daniel cheated on Bianca. And I don't condone cheating, but I do think there are things that men and women can do to push someone to cheat. And I think that Bianca is a perfect example of that. And Melissa too, and Zaria. But I think that's the perfect example of that. Because it's very clear that they're not happy together. I think she's making Daniel miserable, but he can't parole out. He needs to go home to his mama. That's what he needs to do. Because now that he's cheated and they're not together, she's like, he's headed right back to prison. But he's not there yet. He's not there yet. Bianca's a spoiled brat. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But that was pretty much all we got in this episode. Apologies, y'all. I had to cough. Of Love During Lockup's Life After Lockup. This was season 5, episode 49. This was my review and recap of the episode. We will be back again next week for the finale. The finale comes on next week for Life After Lockup. I'm excited about that, even though this wasn't really Life After Lockup. It felt like a season of Love After Lockup. But December 13th, Love During Lockup premieres. I will be recapping it. I hope that you guys tune in, subscribe to the channel, check out some of our music reactions if you're into music. All different genres of very talented independent artists. Some of them not so talented, so I couldn't rate them good. But, you know, for the most part, they are. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Also, be sure to stop by the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel. That is a channel ran by James Jackson. That's someone that I do lots of collabs with on recaps related to OWN and Bravo TV. Tune into that. We will be discussing Love and Marriage Huntsville, the week show that it is, but he loved to recap it, so I'm going to show up. But other than that, love and light to all of y'all. I hope y'all had a very, very good turkey day, and I'm going to go find a Christmas tree. I'll see y'all on the next recap. Bye-bye.